Coming up on this episode of Bro, Do You Even Talk Pinball, we've got our very own Kevin Manny, the man on the ground at Pinball Expo, giving a recap. If you didn't go, he's got you. Don't worry. We'll give all the highlights and the lowlights. We also have the new Metallica pinball machine that was announced. Who saw that coming? And then an Alice in Wonderland, who also saw that coming. Pretty much everybody. All that and more coming right up.
Let's go. Things are going great. That's the wrong thing. So here you go. This is the right one.
Double super jackpot!
I need a ramp. I need a loop. I want targets I can hit. I need the scoop. I need a double super jackpot in my life. That's right.
And now, the Hall & Oates of pinball podcasting, Nick Lane and Kevin Manny of Buffalo Pinball. Whoa, boom shakalaka. Hey, what's going on? It's Monday, October 28th. This is episode 89 of Bro, Do You Even Talk Pinball? I'm Kevin. That's Nick. Nick, how you
As
doing?
always. Good. We're doing it on a Monday night. This is our old time slot, just because this is what was available. Although Kevin I suggested 8 o'clock. Kevin said, no, 7 o'clock, because we're old. And Kevin is right. That's right.
We're not getting any younger.
We'll see if we can stumble through this.
Before it's bedtime and I start taking a nap. Also, it's the World
Exactly.
Series tonight, so I'm glad I backed it up by an hour because World Series starts at 8 o'clock. So Yankees haven't won a single game. Hoping to turn that around tonight. We'll see. So let's get down to it. Let's kick it off by talking about some of our partners. Nick Lane, one of the things I was talking to folks about at Expo was how much people like your ad reads. So
Really?
yeah. So no pressure, but people like it. So don't screw it up, okay?
Oh, Jesus. Wow. And here we go. Screwed up. Well, first of all, let's give a shout out to our two premium supporters, Pin Stadium Lights, who is actually doing a giveaway, which we'll talk about that in a bit. Pin Stadium lighting kits, iOS, Android controlled, brighten up your pinball machine. You can do 16 million colors, I was reading. 16 million colors, that's amazing.
That's a lot of colors.
That's amazing. That's a lot. That's a lot. You will not have any trouble seeing your pinball machines with Pin Stadium lights. Big fan of the Pin Stadium Neo Atoms, which we, spoiler alert, are giving away. But you can use coupon code Buffalo to save 10%. And the other premier partner, Flip and Out Pinball, flipandoutpinball.com. If you're going to buy a pinball machine, and you definitely should buy a pinball machine, everybody should do it at least once in their lifetime, then you're going to want to go to Flip and Out Pinball. Zach, Manny will take care of you. Best customer service out there for those for distributors, hands down. Does great work and pretty much sells any machine out there. As I like to say, he'll even sell you the barbecue game. But he will have a disclaimer saying that, are you sure you want this?
All sales are final. Sorry.
All sales are final. He's warned you. He'll save the text in the email and be like, you see where I warned you? That's Zach May. And then a quick shout out to our other partners, Comet Pinball for LEDs, LED lighting. So it pairs nicely with Pin Stadiums, especially if you got an older game. We've got a bunch of classic games, so we want to swap in some warm Comet retro LEDs into those. Titan Pinball, maker of silicone rings, and made famous by Buffalo Pinball, their mat, which is phenomenal. We can't shut up about it. We've been talking about it for like 5 years now. It's that good. PinballLife.com, one of the newer sponsors this year. Super happy to have Pinball Life as a sponsor. Been using them since 2011, and they have excellent customer service. And Scott Denisi's over there. What else do you guys need, right? Support Pinball Life. Playfield protectors. Now, here's another good one. And if you got an older machine that doesn't have clear coat on it, and you're like, I really want to protect this art and keep it looking good, and also the inserts are cupped, highly recommend Playfield protectors. Head over to playfield-protectors.com. Great product. I use it on my classic games. Pinside.com. Buy machines, sell machines, argue about machines, get hyped, lose hype. All that stuff, right? If you want to create a shitty mod that we'll make fun of next month, that's where you put it. You put it on pinside.com. And maybe Nick and Kevin will talk about it. Isn't that great? And then multimorphic.com, maker of the P3 and Kevin is hot to trot about that P3, and so are all my friends in my friend group. I'm the only kid in school that doesn't have a P3. It's a lonely club by
It's okay.
myself.
We got you covered. We got you covered.
You know, I owned an Amiga back in the day, so at least I have.
Oh God, I don't know what's going on, dude. I don't know where my buttons are. Okay, there we go.
Nope.
I have a
ruin the
wall
ad
of
read,
Atari
Kevin
Jaguar games back there, so I know
Yeah.
all about consoles nobody liked.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's talk about our giveaway, the Pin Stadio Neo Atoms. Oh God, Whew. I don't know what's going on today. Things are a hot mess. I got to change.
It's not
this.
me this time. I just want to point out. Usually it's me.
There it is. Oh my God, it's flawless
Thank you.
execution. This proves we should not do this in the evening. We should only do this in the morning. It's Pin Stadio Neo X Atoms from Pin Stadium. I see a lot of people doing hashtag win in chat. If you're watching on YouTube, it doesn't work over there. You got to be in the Twitch chat for our robot to get your entry. And this is going to go to somebody who has not won a set of Pin Stadiums before. So if you've won before, we want to spread the love out and share the love of the beautiful glow Pin Stadium Neo X Atoms. So it's a nearly $400 value, and they look great.
We're spreading the wealth, okay? So letting other people have that who haven't won, but we're not communists. We're not going to come to your house and take your Pin Stadium Neo out of your pinball machines and then redistribute it. We're not doing that.
You're not doing that. All right. So let's see how we're doing. We got 32 total entries before, and don't forget, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you get double the entries. So if you got Amazon Prime, use your Twitch Prime, then enter, you'll get 2 entries instead of 1. Look at that. You'll double your chances of winning. So shout out to Pin Stadium. Thanks for the giveaway. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel and just hangs out and chats, and hopefully you'll win. All right. It's time for the latest pinball news. What's up?
Yeah, that's right. Kevin's monologue. Let's go. Let's do it. I want to hear about. You gave me a week. Kevin and I got lunch last week, and I got a little preview. But I'm on the edge of my seat. I want to talk Pinball Expo. I have to live vicariously through you.
Okay, so let's get the proper intro by Tim Kitzrow, and then we'll get on with it.
Here's the tip. It's the latest pinball news. So hot, it's on fire.
All right, let's talk Pinball Expo 2024. Nick Lane gets to listen to me talk about Pinball Expo for the next, I don't know, however long this takes. But I got a lot to cover because it was really awesome. So it's the first time I had been since, what was the year that we went to stream Pirates? Was that 2017?
2017 was a magical year.
It was glorious. It was back when Steve Bowden didn't work for AP, so he could come and be on our stream when we streamed JJP Pirates. It had 3 spinning discs in it. Then they took the 3 spinning discs out and nobody bought it. And we still bought it, and it's an amazing game. So we reviewed it, so go back and watch that. But we're not talking about 2017. We're talking about 2024, the 40th anniversary of Pinball Expo. I'm just going to kind of run you through what I did, how I spent my time. So I got there on Thursday, which was the first day of the official floor opening. They had some stuff going on from Tuesday and Wednesday. They had tours of Galloping Ghost, and you could go Stern if you wanted to pay Stern or American Pinball money to tour their factory for some reason. You could go do that. But I decided to show up on Thursday for a couple reasons, family stuff, and also, Thursday to Sunday, that's plenty of Pinball Expo in my book. So I'm showing this room here. Shout out to Pinball News. I'm using all their photos because I'm far too lazy to put together my own slideshow of photos. So this is what we did first, which was we went to visit the tournament room because we got there around 10 a.m. So we landed, grabbed breakfast with Rucko and Chris, and I shout out to Dave Souza. He was my bro for the ride along. If you saw the videos on our Instagram channel, he's the one that did all those. Because again, I'm far too lazy to do these things. I said, if you want to do some reels, we'll put them up on the YouTubes and the Instagrams and stuff. So he did those, and they're really cool. You should check them out. And then, so we got breakfast. Then we came over. We still had 2 hours to kill, so we put some entries into the Classics tournament. It was nice and wide open. Apparently, previous years, the tournament area was pretty cramped. This shows a nice shot of the room where the Classics and Main were. So Classics were on the left. Actually, this is looking the other way. So in this photo, Classics were on the right, and the Main is on the left. And as you can see, Main is just a massive tournament, and I can think of nothing less appealing than spending 4 days grinding out hours long games on Jaws and Godzilla and all these games against the best players in the world. Absolutely not. So we went over, let's play some classics. We did about 2 hours versus the classics. And that was pretty fun. And our entries held up pretty well. I ended up like 50th or something overall. After the weekend was all said and done, there was like 200 people that entered. So not bad for like, I think we did 6 or 9 entries altogether. So that was fun. We got to play weird stuff like Kickoff and all these really old like mini flipper EMs and stuff. So while the main tournament was a boring tournament, the classics was pretty legit. So that was fun for a couple hours. So from there, we just went and like walked around the floor. Let me see if there's any good pics of the floor here for you. Oh, so this was the overflow room. This is like the free play bonus room where all of Rob Burke's games, and he had all sorts of weird stuff in here, like a bunch of Zachariah games and all the Hand King games from Australia, and there's a beautiful hard body there, things like that. So that was that floor. So this is some of the main floor. We walked around in here. There's tons of stuff. The main floor is absolutely massive, and we were just walking around through there. I swear to God, every time I walked through there, I found something new that I didn't see before. So really cool. This Stern had a huge area that was carpeted. I spent like no time in there because you can play Sterns everywhere. I went and played XMen a couple times, and that was about it. We'll get back to that. I'll talk about that later. Alice in Wonderland, played that. We'll give some impressions of that later. But yeah, so some of the other things of note, I have 2 stories. Well, first story I want to share from day 1 of Pinball Expo. I was walking through, and this is me being ultimate dumbass Kevin moment. I walked through, and we were walking through, and somebody was like, "Oh, that's Johnny Crap playing." I forget what he was playing. I was like, "Oh, he's awesome. He did the art for Jurassic Park and Final Resistance." So I was like, "Oh, I'll go over and say hi, Johnny. What's up?" And we've been following each other on Instagram for a while. He's like, "Hey," I was like, "Yeah, I appreciate your work." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I like the podcast and whatever." And that was pretty much it. I was like, "I just wanted to say hi," and moved on. And then later we were getting ready to, we were either coming back from Scott's house or going to Scott's house. I think we were coming back. It was at the end of the night. And we're getting out of the car, and there's this guy there, and he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh, what's going on, man?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just going over to there's this like event over there." I was like, "Hey, cool." And then I walked back in, and I turned to Dave. I was like, "Dave, I had no idea who that was." And so I got a message on Instagram the next day going, "Hey, I saw you when you were getting out of that car, and I could totally tell that you had no idea who I was." And it was hilarious. I go, "Absolutely, I am a huge dumbass." That was me not remembering who you were. I remember you had an awesome Bad Brains hoodie on. So shout out to Johnny Crap. I don't know what you look like because I never see you on Instagram. He's not like a take pictures of me kind of person, which I appreciate. You won't also see many pictures of Nick or I on our Instagram channel. You'll just see our stuff that we do. But Johnny, I'll remember you next time. But actually, I probably won't. I'll probably forget you again. But you can just call me out and say I'm dumb. The other thing we did Thursday night was we hung out with Scott Denisi. He was kind enough to invite us over. The Girl Geek and Ricker, and I think they're in chat hanging out. Rocco, what's up? We went over there and hung out with them. They're also good friends with. Everybody's blowing up chat today. We went up to hang out with them. Got to check out his sweet collection that he's got at home. I played his. He's got a stacker game. I don't know if you've ever played. Gone to like Dave and Buster's. When Dave Fix used to fix games at Dave and Buster's, and there's that game where you would like stack up the light blocks on top of each other. If you got high enough, you got a present. And I won some. He had it stocked with sweet stuff like candy cigarettes. So I got a box of candy cigarettes from Scott. And then I had a root beer. So I had a root beer and candy cigarettes. And I was the coolest 12-year-old on the block. So thanks, Scott, for the invite and for hanging out. All right. So the next day we went to... So I missed the main Jersey Jack Factory Tour because it took place Thursday and was already sold out by the time I decided I was going to Expo. And shout out to JJP. They did not charge for their factory tour. Imagine that. It's a promotional opportunity to share your games in front of everybody. You didn't charge people to come and see it. So
Wait, who was charging people to go?
Everybody
to
else.
Tour?
Stern,
And American Pinball.
American Pinball, Chicago Gaming.
I'd pay to go see American Pinball's tour, to be honest.
Yeah.
How much did they want for that?
I don't know. Somebody in chat will know. I'm
I'd
on
pay that.
I'm on ABBA. What's going on? I don't know what's happening in chat. The helicopter hype. That was good. 95 for American Pinball. Oh, and you pay to go to Logan Arcade.
Dude, you have to get the hell out of here. Wait a minute.
You got both of those for $95. It was like,
what do you mean? What does it mean going to Logan Arcade? Like that was
one of the days it was like you went to API and then you went to Logan Arcade. That was like how you spent your whole day. There was nothing open at Expo that day. It was only
it's like a bus ticket. Is you're paying for the bus ticket? Like I'm just
pretty
confused.
much, yeah.
Like basically $100 to go to an arcade you can go to anytime.
Yeah, they provided the bus, and apparently there's food or something. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't go those days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, Kevin. I just
Yeah. I thought it was bizarre because Stern never used to charge for their tours. No, they started charging. It's like, well, I guess they need to pay for that fancy new headquarters. I guess they're not making enough off of their LEs anymore. Yeah. So Friday, Ken Cromwell and crew were kind enough to get us in on a smaller tour of the JJP factory with some of the distributors and things like that. So we got a cool behind the scenes tour. I had not seen their new facility. I had only seen Nick and I went to the old factory in Jersey a few times, and that was a good time. But yeah, the new one's impressive. It's similar in size to the old one, I think, but they had two lines going. It was Avatar and Elton John were being made. We got to see their wall of microwaves. I will say is not nearly as impressive as the wall of microwaves at Stern. So Stern's got them beat there. Sorry, JJP. But yeah, things were cool. Quick tour, and then we headed over to Galloping Ghost, which was super awesome. There's some pictures of this here. So Galloping Ghost is a bucket list item for me because I like pinball, but I also like video games, as you might be able to see from behind me. I've got some retro games behind me, and big fan of that. So here, let me show you some of these. This is the largest arcade in the world. 1,000 arcade video games in one place. So it used to be, if you're looking at this photo on screen, it used to just be this building. And then slowly they've acquired all of the other buildings on this block, torn down walls between the buildings, and filled them full of arcade games. And it's insane. So if you can see this, it's just like video games as far as the eye can see. And then you get to the back and you're like, oh, hey, there's more games back here. And you go back through, you tour through another room, and then there's another room over there full of arcade games. And it just rows and rows. Any game you could possibly imagine. We played all sorts of weird stuff like old Laserdisc video games, and dude, I can't even remember. There was this Castlevania environmental game where you like held the whip in your hand and played with the whip, stuff like that. So it's got more modern games too. They also have a pinball location, which is a little bit further down, and we didn't go there because they don't have that many games there, and there's plenty of pinball at Expo already, and I've already played Predator, so I don't need to play that again. It works for like 1 or 2 balls and then it breaks, so didn't need to play that. Yeah, the Galloping Ghost was super awesome. If you have any interest in classic arcade video games, highly recommend checking out checking out Galloping Ghost. We didn't have to pay $90. We just went for a tour and we paid our entry fee and we walked around for hours and hours and didn't even scratch the surface. We just we went, and I was like, all right, let's just walk the whole place and see everything, and then we'll start playing it. It took us probably a half hour just to walk around the place and make sure we saw everything. That gives you an idea of how big that place is. So super glad I got to go there. Thanks to Rick and Danielle for giving us the tour and picking us up and driving around that day. Yeah. So what else? Homebrews. We saw all the homebrews. They were awesome at the show. Some of the standout ones to me were the one that was at the top of my list was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, because I think we've talked about Dream Themes many times, and that's always way up there at the top of my list. Number one, because it's the only way I'll get like music that I really like in a pinball machine, And number 2, it's a game I played the shit out of growing up, and it was just incredible. So let me see. There's some pictures here. I'm not seeing a picture of Tony Hawk, but it had this. We were like cheering each other on when you would hit the shots in this game. It was crazy. So it wasn't like a flow game. It was let's make the ball do crazy stuff. So it had like, remember when Hot Wheels came out and everybody wanted a loop shot on it? Well, this game had a loop shot. It would do a straight around loop shot. It would do this crazy corkscrew and come out, like do stuff I've never seen on a pinball machine before. It's got a shot where you would shoot it up the back wall, and then there was a flipper on the back wall where you could send it one of 2 ways. And then if you shot it to the right, there was another flipper up there to make it do another trick. So you're doing like grinds on the walls, and there's an up and around shot. It was crazy stuff. I thank the guy for making it happen, because that's a dream theme for me. Nice work on Tony Hawk. Another cool another cool homebrew that we saw was Borderlands. Borderlands was sweet. It had a playfield in it that would sink down in the cabinet, and then it would like tip back and forth. You would like pick up this little controller on the apron and tip it. You would like move the ball around on the playfield. Like, if you've ever played one of those old like Labyrinth games where you had the knobs on the sides and you would move it front to back, left to right, and you would do that with the game. Really crazy, inventive stuff. So that one was awesome. Probably my favorite of all the games to play was the Sonic the Hedgehog homebrew. That was really cool. Let me see. I don't know if there's any pictures of it here. No, I'm not seeing it. That was just it was a wide body game. Had super fun shots. It had a cool like jump shot that went into the back of the cabinet. The code was really well fleshed out. They even had a flow chart of the rules on of the game next to it. There was a giant Charmander guy up on the top of the machine that I knocked down because he was just a stuffed animal, and I nudged the game and he came falling down. So that was fun. Sonic the Hedgehog, finally got to play that. That was Ryan from American Pinball. That was the game that landed him his lucrative gig working with Dave Fix. I finally got to play that. Very cool, very well executed. Enjoyed that. He said that's not done. He's still working on it some more. And apparently, I caught this in the thread about Sonic. He said he might be working on a multimorphic module too, which would be pretty sweet. Would love to see that happen. Make it happen, Ryan. He also a very good Total Nuclear Annihilation player, which we'll get to that later. What else? Overwatch was cool. I played that with the creator of the game. He was standing there giving me play-by-play of tips and how to play and what I should be shooting for, and I was able to get to a mini wizard mode on that. I non-ironically said it had more code on it than XMen, which he said he had heard many times during the show already. But yeah, they had multiple mini wizard modes you could pick from all these characters. Nick, you played Overwatch, right? You used to play?
Yeah, I played that game a lot.
Yeah. So when you fired up the game, it was kind of like Pirates, where you could pick your character, and each character had its own like super move and perks and everything. It was crazy. So he made this game with his kids because his kids are really into Overwatch, and he had all like video clips from all the different players or different characters. They all had their own voice work in there. Really well done. Really enjoyed that one a lot. The shots were fun too. And then Harry Potter, our very own Kyle Bassa took his Harry Potter machine there. I'm gonna basically Nick and I are gonna take credit for Harry Potter because Kyle said we inspired him to get into pinball pretty much. So you can thank us for that machine, right? Right. I think that's fair. So it looked awesome. It was real early, but he had this crazy, like, super tall cabinet because there's a massive castle in the back. I'm not a Harry Potter guy, so, call me out when I get all the things wrong. But multiple play fields, lots of, like, shoot under this big play field shots. He kind of, like, did massive crunch time to get it going for Expo. So nice job, Kyle. Good finally meeting you in person. Met lots of people who said hi, and even a few who wanted pictures, which I always feels crazy because I'm just like some dude with a podcast and nerd that talks about pinball. But always happy to say hi. If you want to take a picture, we can take a picture. A other people were like, I think Sergeant Ski was like, I didn't want to bother you. I was like, you should have said hi. Like, you know what I look like. I don't know what you look like. So say hi. We can, if you just want to high five and move on with your day, that's all good too. That was, I think that was, I also like the, they had these, like, they were kind of Pinball 2000-ish machines. The Haunted Cruise was really cool. I played that one, and I played this other one too. The Haunted Forest, that was neat. I didn't do any of the other two, but those were like Pinball 2000, but even better. The Haunted Cruise was cool because you'd like smash on the door on the, which was basically a thing on the screen, and then something would move it out of the way, and you were able to like shoot it through the door. And there's like cool ramps, and the rules made sense, and it wasn't too crazy, but it was very inventive. You're like picking up these coins and stuff. So again, I'm all about bringing video and pinball together. So you know, like Pinball 2000, P3, it's all good in my book, and these were really cool. Yeah, Kyle was telling me that guy basically makes a new game every year, which is it's insane. Some people just are way too talented. But keep it going. And it was cool to see a lot of the manufacturers going around checking it out. I always wonder, like, are they just stealing ideas, or are they like looking for people to hire? It doesn't feel like maybe there's that much of a market for that many more pinball designers, but we'll see. We'll see if, you know, the next Stern that comes out and it has something from one of these homebrews in, and they're claiming it is an industry first. We'll know where it came from. Okay, so that was Homebrews. One of the other cool things we did was we played in the Prewar Pinball Tournament, because I figured, where else are you gonna be able to play a bunch of flipperless pinball games? Let's see if it's in there here. No, I don't see it in here. So yeah, Burrs, FZ Burrs, and a whole crew had all these awesome like pre-war 1930s flipperless games where you know, you basically just plunge it and try to get in the hole, and you can nudge it a little bit. They have tilt bobs in them and stuff, and little stool pigeon tilt warnings and stuff. So those were cool. I was like, we definitely got to play that. No whoppers though, because there's no flippers. It's in IFPA, and that includes flippers. But we got some fun times in on that. Some of them were cool because they were electrified, so they would have lights on it if you did certain things, or it would change states and things like that. So I know very little about those games. I just know they're fun to play when I see them at places like that. So shout out to everybody who made those happen. And Pinball Olympics. Pinball Olympics was dope. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up our Instagram. So Nick, what do you know of Pinball Olympics? I assume you've seen some of that before.
Yeah, it looks zany. I've seen videos before.
Zany is accurate.
It's probably not for me.
No, why not?
I don't do zany.
You're not a zany kind of guy?
Martha probably would do zany.
She would do zany. All right,
yeah.
Here we go. Oh, I got this. So I can show you. These are some of the hot reels that Dave did. He did this one. So you can see this was Saturday of Expo. Oh, don't ask what's going on there. Just never mind that.
Okay, that's gonna get us demonetized.
It was censored. It was all good.
Well,
it was yeah. So just
that's
all sorts of crazy.
Whoever. I'm sorry, I can't.
We got him.
Bubbles Pinball wants nothing to do with that. I just want to say that.
That's why he was like, yeah, let's get. You can go ahead and play. I was like, yeah, there's gonna be no footage of me playing this game at all. But they had TNA in this crazy room. You could play Iron Man with pistols, NBA Fast Break with Step Mania pads. You could play Trilogy Beer with a beer mug. Hollywood Heat through a kaleidoscope. Insane stuff. But yeah, we spent here's me playing Avengers while flying, and this is the game. I ended up getting a medal. It was from the Flying Avengers game. I think mostly because it required upper body stamina, and mine's okay. And so I was able to play it for a while. I got the multi-ball going. I got an extra ball. There's lots of Lion Man. So this is the medal ceremony at the end, and they threw medals off, and Scott and Dave and I all won medals. It was a good time. So there's Scott Denisi signing Dave's shirt, and there's Joe Chair. We did it. So yeah, that was a good time. Pinball Expo. So that I think kind of the irony of going to Expo this year was that I spent most of my time not there. So we went to the JJP Factory. We went to Scott's house. We went to Galloping Ghost. We went to Pinball Olympics. And then when we were doing that, we were at the floor. So I felt like it was a good balance. I felt like if I was just there on the floor the whole time, I probably would have got bored. But then I probably would have ended up going to more of the seminars. I went to none of the seminars.
Which I'm very upset that you didn't go to American Pinball's, like, what's going on with American Pinball.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Pretty sad.
I think we know what's going on.
Yeah, I
So,
wanted to
at the
just
same
go and
time-
ask what was happening with American Pinball. Here's some of the pre-war stuff from that Dave shot. Really fun. Crazy. Is it crazy the amount of stuff they were able to do with just mechanical? There's me looking at a book. This is one of the ones that had lights, Starlight. That was awesome. If you got it in the middle thing, it freaked out. Oh, and this is a good one. Multiball, ready? Wait for it. Woo! Multiball. Yeah, good times. Yeah, what else? Pinball Olympics we talked about. And all right, I guess I can give some thoughts on some of the new games. That's what people want to hear about, right? So I got to play all the new games. We started out on ABBA, which I almost forgot about until somebody, I think Rob on Facebook was like, "Can't wait to hear you talk about ABBA." It's like, "Oh yeah, I played ABBA." So we played that. They were right by the entrance, so you couldn't miss them. And they had the folks at Pinball Brothers had written to us saying, "Hey, stop by the booth. We'll show you what's going on." Cool. So I went over and I said hi, and I played ABBA, and it was okay. It was a pinball machine. It did some interesting things. The left ramp could either go up the left ramp and come around and come back down the left side, or there was a magnet at the top of the left ramp and it would drop it in a hole, which was kind of cool. So, two different states from that left ramp. So that was interesting and different. The rest of the game just felt pretty straightforward. The helicopter mech was pretty cool. We were able to get the helicopter multiball going. So that was something. You basically you had to hit the stand-up targets, and then there was a drop target in the back. You would knock down the drop target, put it in the vertical up kicker, and it would kick it into the helicopter. And then you do that twice, and it's a multi-ball. It comes out, it goes like beep beep, and it lets the balls out. And then
What's your favorite ABBA song?
That Take a Chance on Me, I guess. That's the only one I can think of. I think that's an ABBA song, right?
Sure.
Okay. But it's like you couldn't even hear the games. Like it's a music game, you could barely hear it. I played Queen again. That was that felt the same.
It's still Queen.
Still Queen. Yep. Still no desire to buy it. Yep. Yep. So that was ABBA. It's a pinball machine. Check the box. It didn't break. So while I was playing it,
That's
so that was good.
Yeah.
I think they get a plus for that. What else? You want to hear like the highs first or the lows first? Or you want me to go back and forth?
Why don't you work your way up to your favorite?
Okay.
So like let's go. Let's start
right.
from the bottom.
So if we're going from the bottom, ABBA would not be the bottom, but that's just the one I talked about first. What would be at the bottom of the new stuff that I haven't played is Space Hunt. Remember Space Hunt? It's like Spanish or
somehow I
European
remember,
game of some sort. French. I think it's a French manufacturer. Rob Burke bought one and had it there. And apparently it's not UL certified. That's why you can't get them in the US, but he managed to get one somehow.
That's how you know how much money this guy gets when he just like memeing and buying games like that.
Yeah.
No.
It was in the Pin Sound booth because apparently it's got Pin Sound stuff in it. So I went and checked it out. We were just walking around and we were like, "Oh my God, it's Space Hunt. We got to play Space Hunt." So we played Space Hunt, and it looks good. Like it's a good looking game. And the theme for what it is interesting, I guess. You're hunting in space and stuff. It's got a like cool little pinball guy on there that you see bopping around. The shots are interesting-ish. It's got a center ramp thing. And then we were like, how do you get it on? Because the main playfield feature is it's got this dangly dongly thing over on the right on a mini playfield. We're like, how do you get it over there? So there's this far shot on. So there's a left orbit, and then there's a ramp shot just to the left of that is super tight. and goes all the way around the pinball machine, all the way to the right. And we shot that like 10 times, and it like would go in there, rattle around, and come out. Go in there, rattle around, and come out. I heard other people say they were able to make it and got it up there, but then once it's up there, it either just went right by it because they didn't realize what you were supposed to do, or you flipped the flipper and it fell off the upper playfield, and that was it. So, yeah, it's by the time ball 3 rolled around, we were not into it anymore. We were like, all right. I was like, I'm gonna finish. I'm never gonna play this game again, probably. So I'm gonna play all 3 balls of Space Hunt, and so that was the thumbs down game of the show so far. After that, I would probably put ABBA after that. So Space Hunt, then ABBA, then probably Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of a toss up. Like Alice in Wonderland, XMen, Ninja Eclipse are all kind of like right there in the middle. Like, we'll go Alice next. I do have pictures of that up that we can show.
How many games of Alice did you play?
We played 2. The lines were pretty long for it.
Yeah.
But it was only set to 2 ball.
Yeah.
Which is good for a show where
Yeah,
like a
that's
lot of people
smart.
want to play the game. It makes sense. It's a good looking game. It's not as good as like Zombie Yeti art, but it's okay.
Was it a Zombie Yeti art?
It was originally, but they had another. Oh, we can't.
Okay.
This is what'll get us demonetized on YouTube right there.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Let me see if I can find the playfield shot here. So, yeah, here you go. So, yeah, Zombie Yeti had done the original concept with,
okay.
but then they took another artist to kind of actually bring it into production.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was okay. Like, it was just kind of like a beautiful game. Like, the sculpts are cool. Lior obviously does really good work. Yeah, it just like okay. It was okay from a shot perspective. I asked one of the guys from Dutch Pinball. I was like, "How do you get it up on this upper playfield?" And he was like, "Oh, you have to get this one mode, and to change the modes, you have to hit the pop bumpers, and then once the pop bumpers are on that mode, you have to hit this one shot to get it to the upper playfield.
Wow.
And then if you accidentally shoot the pop bumpers, then it changes the mode, and you're screwed."
Wow. There's only one mode that sends it up there?
As of
Allegedly?
now, which is crazy for a feature that takes up like 2/3 of the back of the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of real estate. Like that's what catches your eye when you look at this game.
Yeah. So
I mean it's basically the Twilight Zone, right? It's just a magnet, like
magnet
you pulse,
flips.
like so who cares?
Right. But it was so that I had asked him that after I had already been playing it. When you first plunge, it's the mode that was lit. So the second time I played it, I was like, "Oh, the mode's lit. Let me just hit the mode start shot," and it put it up there. And I flipped around, and it wasn't very clear what I was supposed to be doing up there. And I was able to keep it up there quite a bit of time. So, okay, it was all right. It was okay. To me, it felt very much like what it was. It was a J-pop idea of a machine, like a super early prototype machine, like quote unquote layout that they're like, all right, let's bring it to life. And much like Magic Girl, at least unlike Magic Girl, all the shots went somewhere and did something. But it definitely felt more like, oh, J-pop has an idea, but he really needed 4 other people to actually make this fun and cool to play. And also there's a 3D printed diverter in the back that I found, but that apparently won't be in the final game. But this was a prototype machine, so we'll see. We'll see about that.
I really wish I searched for it quickly. I didn't find it, but you heard like the jackpot call out of the game.
Yeah, I couldn't hear
Mad Hatter?
anything, but it was bad.
Have you heard it before? You've heard it before,
I heard
right?
it on the promo video. Yeah, it was really bad.
It sounds like Herbert the Pervert from
Jackpot.
Yeah. Oh jackpot! Oh jackpot! Like I just remember somebody looped that. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the Facebook page or the group that looped it, but it was great. They just put that like on loop, and
That's amazing.
it's so bad. People are like, "Is this a placeholder?" Like, yeah.
Yep.
Go if anybody can find a video of it. Just treat yourself to that.
Yeah, this is like the lights on the side were cool on the side rails. But again, this is like the ultimate game for somebody who just wants to say they have something rare and
Yeah.
and to sit in their room and look at, you know, and not actually play that much.
100%.
Yeah, it's for the diaper wipers out there.
Yeah, 100%.
So that was Alice. Oh, one thing I forgot. How could I forget? It's not actually a new game, but it was my first time playing it. Barbecue, baby! I got to play barbecue finally. Where do you think that ranked in my?
Oh shit! You never played that.
I had never played barbecue. Have you played it? Oh, you played it at Pinball, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think? I mean, you know what I think. It's absolutely terrible. What do you think?
It was worse than Space Hunt.
Oh, so that's the worst in the list.
It was the worst. Sorry, Space Hunt. Wow. You were not the worst.
Wow. What stood out to you in terms of what makes it the worst, though? Now, you can't just say it's the worst. What makes it the worst?
Let me set the stage here. So we were at Scott's place, and Rick and I were talking about this game, and we were like, I was like, oh yeah, it was my first time playing barbecue, and I was just like, you know, we were like, what did you think? And I was like, I don't know, it was just kind of, and he and I both at the same time said miserable, unprompted. Like that was the first word that came to mind for both of us simultaneously. There was like the flippers were strong enough that I was able to shoot the ramps. I locked a couple balls, you know, I did the things, and I saw the meat on the screen. That was really all I wanted to see. Was the stock.
You see the drizzle?
I saw the drizzle and the gloves, the black gloves.
Yeah.
That was the only game I did not finish a full game on. I played one ball and I was like, that is enough. I'm going to spend my time doing something else. And also the American Pinball section of Expo is way too big. I could just see Dave being like, I need all of this space for all my games. And there's like never anybody over there. Yeah, it was, sorry to Space Hunt. I don't want to disparage you like that. But you know, barbecue is the worst. Okay, Ninja Eclipse was kind of my surprise hit of the show. I actually had a good time playing Ninja Eclipse. It was the art is really good on it. Probably some of the best art of the new games. Really, it looked like a Disney animator had drawn it. It was really good. The layout didn't have any like outstanding mechs or anything like that, but it was just an interesting, cool layout. The little like ricochet shot from scoop to scoop is kind of cool. I will say the rules felt kind of grindy. You would get into these battles and it was like 9 shots to finish a battle. So that felt like kind of a slog. The one major concern I had about that was they flipped up the play field and the bottom of the machine is one massive circuit board. And I showed Matt, our friend Matt, he's an engineer. I was like, what's your engineering take on this, the bottom of this play field? And he said it's clean looking, but you know, if that PCB fails, like what happens, right? I would be concerned about that. And that was my thought too. Like, you know, if you have a Stern or a JJP or a Multimorphic or even like a Williams, and one piece goes bad, you just replace that piece. You don't have to take the whole bottom of the play field off to get the circuit board out to swap it. So that would be. I mean, the other thing is like it's another new manufacturer. Are they going to be around to support this? It looks like all proprietary stuff. So those are all concerns I would have and reasons I would not be running out to buy myself a Ninja Eclipse. But it seemed to be like the darling of the show from the new games. A lot of people were talking about how they had fun on it. So good on them. They took the feedback, and they had that little baby cabinet last year. I don't know if you remember what it looked like. It was like in the weird coin door and stuff. So it's in a full-size cabinet. It looks like a Stern machine, basically. And yeah, that was Ninja Eclipse was cool. And then
so they sold out all 100 of them that they said they would make.
Did they? I heard they were still trying to sell them, but if they did good on them,
according to their website, it says they're sold out. The 100.
Right. Well, hopefully people actually get them.
That's step 2.
Yeah.
Step 1 is send money or order. Step 2 is actually get pinball machine.
Yeah. They actually had some built in at the show, and they sold those ones. So if you're taking one home from the show, then you're good. If you gotta wait, who knows how long you're gonna wait? So we'll see. Zavadoza in chat says they will. So you guys have nothing to worry about. They're gonna ship. You can mark Zavadoza's words. They will ship them. How long will it take? What's the timeline though? Is it gonna be like Dutch Pinball, Big Lebowski timeline, or is it gonna be, you know, a little bit faster than that? hopefully a little faster than that. Okay. XMen was another one I played. The layout was cool, and that seems to be the kind of like the consensus is the ball does cool stuff. But from the owner's thread, I've been seeing lots of mechanical issues, people having problems with the plunge going around, weird like trying to get it up certain ramps. It's problematic, especially on the LEs. It seems like I only got to play the Pro. It's honestly like they had all these X-Men, and visually between the different models is almost impossible to tell the difference. They all look very similar. So at the one point I thought we were in line for the premium. I was like, oh, I guess this is another Pro. They just all look the same. So I played the Pro a couple times, and it was fun. Yeah, the layout was cool. Shout out to Gold Wings. That's basically Gold Wings on the bottom third of the playfield. And yeah, but the rules felt very sterny. You know, stagger mode and a multi-ball, basic stuff. And then the call-outs were bad. The animations were bad. Couldn't really hear the music great. But yeah, it's got a ways to go. It's got a ways to go, rules-wise. So we'll see.
It's not going to go anywhere rules-wise with the team that's working on the rules. They like to just have a mode, start, like it's just going to be rinse, wash, repeat, copy code, move on.
Yeah, it's going to be it's Tanyo Kleiss doing the rules on that, right?
Wason, I thought it was Wason.
Oh, Wason. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep. So that's X-Men, and the standout show of the game for me was Avatar. I had the theme doesn't do much for me. It was kind of like, Avatar, take it or leave it. Don't love it, don't hate it. But Mark's layout was really awesome. It had the two upper flippers, lots of cool little, like I was telling Nick, there's like a couple easy shots on each flipper, but then there's also all these, like, I was watching Mark play and he was hitting these shots. I was like, man, how do you do that? I want to do that. So I kept stepping up. We would walk around for a while. I'd be like, let's go back and play Avatar again. And we'd walk around for a while, like, let's go play Avatar again. The first time I played it, I was like, all right, let's start off the right way. Let's play the CE first. And that's the one with the topper and everything. I was like, I want to get the full experience. And that was really cool. They had it in a tent at Expo, and apparently the playfield was not final. They're still working on like dialing in the UV stuff. So that's why they had it in the tent under the UV light to kind of show it off a little bit better. They're still working with the manufacturer to get those 100%. But I thought the UV looked really good on the standards or the limited editions that were out on the floor. They had a ton of them there, so the lines were pretty long, but they had a lot to kind of like spread people out, which was good. There was even one in one of the other distributors' booths and stuff. They actually two. There's one kind of in the back left, and there was one in the middle. So they're kind of strewn all about the show floor to check them out, which was cool. Yeah, and the lower playfields were neat. They didn't spend a lot of time down there, and they were interesting and different. So the first one was just a pop bumper, and you're trying to like pop it off the pop bumper to hit these targets, and then you advance to this crab battle, and the crab battle was cool. You hit the crab a couple times, and then you would get a multi-ball out of that. The second time you got around to it, it made it really the crab gets significantly harder because you have to hit that orbits to finish them off. And so it's not like a gimme lower playfield. You gotta earn it. And then our Dave and I played that a bunch, and our favorite part was when you don't beat the crab, he does a little dance and he dances on you. So he was like taunting you. And we got to meet the guy that did the crab animation on the last day of Expo, and Dave got his picture of him. So we were like, it's the crab guy, because JP Doan was talking to us, and he's like, oh, this is him. This is the guy who did the crab, because we were telling him how much he liked the crab. So shout out to Crab Guy. We love your work. Yeah, so Avatar was a machine of the show for me. And I think that pretty much covers Expo. Is there anything from Expo that we didn't cover that y'all want to hear? maybe I feel like we covered the
So I just want to. So somebody asked when you were saying X-Men animations are bad. They said animations are bad compared to what? They're fine. What would you say they're bad compared to?
Anything else? Like Avatar is amazing. I think the art and animation on Princess Bride is really good.
Even looked on like Alice in Wonderland looked like it even had better animation than which is not saying much.
It's better. It's like in the quality of the art is better, but the animation style is the same. Like where it just like it's like puppetry, and kind of like take a picture and move it around versus like full 3D animation, fully rendered art. The drawings themselves on X-Men are not good. Like the art of the characters is bad. You know, I would have preferred to just see like the art from the 90s X-Men cartoons. At least then it would be like a retro like feel. Versus whatever, I don't know who drew those. Not a fan. And that's not a hot take either. That's like pretty much consensus across the board. It's if you've played Avengers Infinity Quest, very similar art style there, like where it's just like kind of like, hey, here's a character and he moves around and shakes and stuff. Diamond Lady was pretty amazing. Yep, Tony Hawk Pro Skater was good. We talked about that. We pull, if you're looking for the drawing, we do the drawing at the end. Yeah, hashtag win to get in. You got to be in Twitch chat to enter. Okay. So there you go. That's Expo. I also saw Metallica Remastered there. That's not going to get Machine of the Show for me because it's the same game, just reskinned. Although I didn't wait in line to play it because the line was super long. They waited until Saturday to put it on the floor, and then they only had two. They had one LE and one premium. So I walked by and I looked at it. It's a good looking game. Certainly a different art style than the old school Metallica. This is a game that I've played like a bazillion times, so I have no desire to own one, even though I'm a fan of Metallica. They were one of my favorite bands growing up. But yeah, I have no desire to spend $13K on a LE or $10K on a premium. But I know there's people out there that didn't have a chance to get one of the ones with Dirty Donnie art on it. So if you're looking for a Metallica, and this is one you can maybe get yourself a premium. Allegedly, the LEs are all sold out, but I imagine that means all sold out to distributors, and they're still available, I would guess. Nick, what are you? I've talked a lot. Give some thoughts on Metallica. Yeah. You're a Metallica owner.
I'm a Metallica owner. Actually, I sold it to Martha.
Oh, that's right.
But I'm happy I have Metallica in the collection still because it can be a total ass kicker, and it's not a long playing game, which I'm just so tired of long playing games now. I want to get back to like the early 2010s Stern, where they just made games where you can actually play a 4-player game with people, and people don't fall asleep that you're playing with. So yeah, and like you and I were talking about this the other day, Kevin. I think it's this is a good move by Stern. I think it makes sense. This is a popular game. It came out on their older SAM system, right? So one thing that bothers me about the music pins from the SAM system is that they're in mono, and obviously bringing it to the Spike system. Things are in stereo, which they should have been stereo.
Wow.
I mean, this is not even a big thing, but like you want the fidelity to be as good as possible on a music pin. Of course, you're going to need to upgrade the speakers on this, but hey, at least the source is in stereo. But what Stern did here is great. You know, like I said, they took a game that was popular. They've updated it and brought it into the new system, which now instead of a DMD, we've got an LCD with new animations. They've added, I think it's 8 additional songs, so they're up to 22 songs. They didn't just phone this in, right? They didn't just like use the same art, use the same songs, put in stereo, maybe, update some lights, and that's it. You got all new art. I think the art style looks great. I think the original art style looks great as well. I might actually prefer the kind of new art style, but maybe that's just because I like new shiny things. But I think that just speaks volumes, right? Like they did a really good job. They took a game that's popular. They took a chance of redoing the art. With the art style was loved to begin with, so that's great. And it's like music pins should have over 20 songs in them that come out these days. I like that they're using their lighting kit. What are they called? The side rails or
expression lights?
Expression lights. So they got expression. They got expression lights on it. Yeah. So I think this is a good move by Stern. So great for anybody who's like a hardcore Metallica fan. I could see them selling the original version and upgrading to this. I'm not going to do that. Like I said, Martha owns the game now. We're perfectly happy of ours. But anybody who ever wants a Metallica, and this is a huge win for you guys. And Yeah, you know, the premium, it's like the premium pricing is like 9,600 or whatever they come out for premium pricing these days. So standard pricing on that. I don't know. I think it's a good deal. I think it's a good move. It was a good choice of a pin to redo. I think they could probably even redo some even other music pins and just bring them up to this kind of, you know, better sound, add more songs in there kind of situation. But great call by Stern. I think that's a win.
Yeah, I like that they added a bunch of call outs. They did like
That's
1,000
right.
new call outs from the band. So
Yeah.
the band is obviously really into this too, which helps, right? So you get all like concert footage from the band. Your point about the sound quality is a big selling point, I think, and one I hadn't really considered. Because when I go back and I play my Tron after I play, like I'll play Final Resistance. I'm like, oh, I should play Tron now because they're both like sci-fi games, and the sound is like really jank on on the SAM system. So yeah, that's huge. The rest of it, like, I prefer the Dirty Donny art, but I like that they're using a different artist that Stern works with, or that Metallica works with a lot. So you get a different style of some of their art and a different take on an artist's rendition of what they do with the band. So very cool. And the metallic looking art, the like foil sides were really cool looking on the LE at the show. So if you got an LE coming, I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah, total win, I think, on Stern's part. So good job. That's a worthwhile venture that they did, bringing that back up. Okay, what else?
One thing that I don't like is the new Sparky. He's kind of jank. He's a little jank.
He's kind of jank. Okay, I've got to see him.
He's like, I don't know. The old Sparky was just so like legendary and classic. Oh, and before we move on from Expo, I have to give, when we were talking about Pinball Olympics, shout out to the super loud guy that was behind me when we were waiting for the medals. He's like, you're going to talk about me on the show. And I'll be like, I won't remember your name, but I'll say the loud guy really helped me out or whatever. So there you go. I talked about you. Okay.
All right. The other piece of news is that, you know, obviously Alice in Wonderland came out, was announced earlier this month. Kevin talked about, he actually got to play it. So that's a nice review, like nice impression. Sorry. I almost got some trouble, Kevin.
Oh, shoot.
I think Kevin,
speaking of, I was hanging out with Josh Kugler and he was calling us out for our hot takes on some of his AP games. I was like, you know, it is what it is. There are impressions. We're giving our first impressions.
It's a hot take, right? Like,
yeah.
And first impressions are that's why they're so important, right? Like, but
yeah,
I think our best
Josh hanging out with Josh was super awesome. So
our best reviews are obviously games that we own, right? And you can spend a lot of time with it, and then it goes down from there. So there you go, Josh. Yeah. So like, what else can we say about it? They're only making 500 machines of these, and 300 are allocated for sales in North America. The machines translated in pricing from euros to US dollars is like $11,794. I don't know what they're going to sell for in the US. That's just kind of translating that price. I mean, you know, if you keep it under 12, at least you're at the Jersey Jack level. Do you get to see the topper, Kevin?
Yeah, the topper was really cool.
Does it do anything?
So the eyes on it are little LCD screens, and they would change like this is like a game. If you like to do drugs, you buy yourself this game and just kind of trip out and play this game.
Well, that's kind of like the thing with Alice in Wonderland, right?
You take some LSD and you just kind of go in. But yeah, the eyes were their screens. Let me see. I don't know if I can get in any closer on this. And they would change, and they'd be like swirly and fiery and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, the topper was really impressive. It didn't move or anything, but the LCD screen eyes were cool.
Yeah. You know, I think they're going for like that Williams 90s game kind of feel and look to it. And, you know, I like the artwork on it. People are like, oh, it's like, you know, scantily clad women kind of deal. It's like, dude, that's pinball. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I know in the last kind of 20 years it's been neutered a little bit and toned down, and we get like a lot of comic book stuff, and you know, you never see like a sexy woman on a game anymore. But it's got it again. It goes kind of for the 90s Williams thing, and that's how decades of pinball have been. So if you don't like it, fine. But I don't see anything crazy about it. I think it's.
I mean, they know their audience, right?
Oh, I mean, that's pinball, right? Like, I guess you could have gone like the Disney route of Alice in Wonderland, or then you gotta kind of go the more adult slant. So I'm for like the more like, give me adult themed games like guns, scantily clad women. Like, I'm fine with that. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. But yeah, again, it's. I think you said it best, Kevin. It's kind of like you said, it's like a diaper wiper thing, but it's like, you know, it's an art piece, I think, first and foremost, and gameplay and everything else in that game is going to come secondary. So people who want to have a like an art piece in their collection, I think that this looks like it does the trick, right? The sculpts are nice, like they didn't spare any expense. That mod maker Stumbler did, I think, at least the side rail lighting LEDs on it. So obviously a visually stunning game. It remains to be seen over time if the game is actually can back it up with like gameplay and rules. That's more, I think that's more of a dubious proposition. But if you're making 500 of these, then I think you'll sell 500, and I think the company will do well, and then they can move on to something else.
Yeah, I mean, rumor is they have Back to the Future too. So if they have that, hopefully they make more than 500 of those. That's all I'm saying. That's a pretty dope theme.
Yes, I was listening to Zach Many's, what is it, the Pinball podcast? I don't listen to many podcasts, but I was out on the road, and he was saying something about like Stern passed up Back to the Future. I think if I understood his discussion on that, which is crazy because I think they let kind of like the designing teams basically vote on and pick what games they want to do. So that's insane. That is like insane, dude. Like you should not let the design teams pick it, all of them or something. Like I understand you got to be excited about the game you're making, but it's like you want your company to make money. Like that's the thing. Like Back to the Future is like instant money maker. That's it.
The only thing with Back to the Future is it's probably like one of these situations where you're not going to get all the actors' likenesses, right? So it could be a license where, you can't show Michael J. Fox or, Doc Brown because, they don't want to be in this pinball machine and they're all, piecemeal themselves together. So I'm wondering if that's why Stern was like, well, if we can't get those characters, then people are going to lose their mind and they're not going to buy this game. But I think there's enough people who really love the theme who are going to buy it anyways. Yeah.
Somebody tried to correct me in chat. It's not called the Straight Down the Middle podcast. It's the Pinball Show, TPN, with Zach Many and Dennis Crystal. So I'll give a shout out to them. I did like that podcast on it. Good discussion.
There you go.
Nice. Rick creds too.
Yeah.
My boy Zach. All right.
It's your boy Zach.
It's my boy Zach. Anything else on Alice? I mean, they got a lot of coverage this thing.
We got double Aliced. No, there you go.
Yeah.
If you want a 90s J-pop game with J-pop without the support of all the people who actually made his games work well, then go for it.
All right, so quick note. So they had the making of John Wick video came out in the last month since the last podcast. I watched that because I am, for some reason, I'm really interested in this game, even though I haven't purchased it yet. I need to sell a game first, which I'm trying to sell my Rush, but I think I'm going to yank it from the market because I don't like to move in pinball machines to my house during the wintertime because I got to stage it in the garage, and that's difficult, blah, blah, blah. You guys don't need that exposition. But, yeah, I mean, Stern does a good job with these making of videos. I'm not sure if I've ever seen another one. I thought this was well done. It was like 12 minutes long, well worth a watch. So some things that I picked up on it and was interesting is like they were talking about like the music in this game back in 2022. Tim was talking about getting hiring the guy from Anthrax and talking about how he wants the music done. So this game has been thought about for a while. Tim was saying he's a big fan of the John Wick movie, so maybe like that came up and he jumped on it to work on it, was motivating them to do it. It was supposed to have an upper playfield like in WWE. That didn't work out. I'm glad they didn't do that. I think what is in the game works better. But what's interesting about this game as somebody who wants to buy it, and I actually spent a lot of time in the owners thread just there lurking, feeling their pain. The owners are not happy whatsoever with the rules on this game. It's just very lacking. Like they're starving for code. And it's kind of crazy to think that, they were talking about this game in 2022. There's a video of like the upper playfield being shown in January 2023. Like, so why is the code so like just not there on this game? Why is it so early? It's a bizarre thing. I'm kind of fascinated by it. And they spend a lot of time talking about like the presentation in the game. And again, they've got it like the code in the game where it's like, oh, if you kill 2 enemies, and it shows John Wick killing 2 enemies, and there's all these scenes. It's like, my God, guys, like this is your focus on the cherry on the top, but the core of the game doesn't exist. So, anyways, the worse the game is, the lower the price is for when I want to pick it up. So there's that. But yeah, just wanted to mention that. But you probably have no thoughts or feelings or comments about this section, Kevin.
My thought on this was that This feels like Nick is really trying to convince himself to buy a John Wick.
Oh, I am.
yeah.
No, I am. Like, I am. Like, I would get one if I had sold Rush and I had cash in hand. I probably would buy one, but it's also a weird time to buy because the price is going to plummet on that thing right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a weird thing. I mean,
Yeah.
if by miracle Tim puts out an amazing code and it could go up, because the one thing that people agree on is they like the layout and they like the speed and they like how it shoots. And that's what I'm addicted to in the theme. The code seems pretty rubbish. And I'm also concerned with Tim on the code because, Black Knight Sort of Rage is not an amazing code. It just is serviceable. So we'll see. Hopefully Tim can kind of knock it out of the park, and he's got some tricks up his sleeve that he's going to pull out. Okay, here we go, guys. We got I don't think we've done this for a month or two. It's WTF American Pinball. You guys like this session?
Yeah.
It's the full title for this month is WTF American Pinball. Dennis Nordman calls Dave Fix a liar. Here we go.
Here we go. Take it away.
I like the title. Legendary pinball designer Dennis Nordman denies American Pinball's claims about him. So what's going on, Kevin? Are you up on the speed on this?
I got the Cliff Notes version. So basically, I'm actually friends with Dennis on Facebook. So I saw this. He posted on Facebook saying, basically he heard Dave Fix on a podcast. So he was on the Pinball News podcast. And basically everything he said about Dennis Nordman and his departure from the company was fake. And he also said that what everybody agrees is basically he had Whitewater 2 ready to go. He didn't call it Whitewater 2, but everybody's like, yeah, that's what he was hinting at. And instead of doing Whitewater 2, which everybody will lost their minds for, he did the barbecue game instead. So, just solid decision after solid decision. I had some good Dave Fix conversations at Expo too with people who used to work there.
Oh man,
we'll share some secrets offline. Dave and I can give you the scoop the next time we're all together.
Oh wow,
yeah.
The viewers don't even get to know this.
Yeah, no, because this was you don't want to divulge things that people were just saying to you one-on-one on a public podcast.
Sure. Well, you don't have to name names, but I understand.
Yeah.
Well, things are not looking good. So somebody's either Dave is lying or Dennis Nordman's lying. You guys can speculate here, but I'm gonna read the quote, and this is Dennis Nordman talking about what happened. So Dave Fix was on Pinball News in May 2024. I remember we listened to this one and we talked about it a little bit. And if you want to hear it for yourself, he says you can go to the 2 hour and 19-minute mark. I mean, I know, drop what you're doing and listen to this. But here we go. This is Dave Fix. This is Dennis Nordman quoting Dave Fix. So here we go. Quote, Dennis is not a young guy. He kind of came to us and he was like, I could be doing better by, being home a little bit more and, being this, that, and the other thing. And we kicked it around a couple times. And then we said, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to lay you off. We want to put you to contract basis. We want to build your game. It's not the hot priority now. It's not shelved. It's either other little things that can be done. Let's talk about this and have a contract made up, and we'll contract base this. And it's well open. You can come and, do what we need to do, and let's do this. But, we kind of gotta lay you off from day to day. Okay, that's the unquote. That was Dave Fix.
I have no idea what you just said.
So Dennis, then this is a quote from Dennis. None of this is true. I have no contract with American Pinball. American Pinball was not honoring my original contract, so I told Dave Fix I was going to work from home more days per week. Okay, so American Pinball, according to Dennis Nordman, is not honoring contract. Dennis Nordman continues, I wanted to see my next game go into production. It's an unlicensed theme, but it's a theme that everyone is familiar with, and it has an amazing playfield. It was way ahead of barbecue in development, but Mr. Fix decided to put barbecue in front of it. Well, this is my commentary right now. I mean, yeah, of course, because barbecue is amazing. You got to get that out. He's got a hot item.
The people want it.
They do. Okay, so Dennis Nordman continues. They offered me a contract that was completely unacceptable. They said if I did not accept that contract, I would be terminated. I asked why, and they said they didn't have enough money to pay me. I asked, do you mean if I don't sign this contract, I'm terminated? I was told, yes. I walked out. Dennis Nordman continues. That's where it stands today. I have nothing to do with American Pinball. Mr. Fix told other people at AP that he would bring me back to finish game number 2 in June or July. Of course, that didn't happen. So there we go, Kev. I think the back-to-back shows we had Josh Kugler say that American Pinball owes him money. Yeah. We have Dennis Nordman saying they had no money to pay him, so they basically weren't honoring his contract, which is contrary to what Dave said. So yeah, things are going bad over there. Not exactly trying to dance on their early grave at this point, but the prediction of them going out of business by the springtime is still in play. So
all right, we'll have to clip that. Go back and clip that that podcast where we made your prediction.
Yep, that's right. We'll see. I might be wrong. I don't know how they still are there, like going right now, but they don't have money to pay people. So
it's pretty amazing.
And that's Dennis Norman. Now,
Yeah.
Granted, to be fair, Dennis Norman did have the turd Galactic Tank Force. Okay, like he didn't. He pushed for that. Right, that's my understanding. It was like they went.
It was his
that.
idea. Yeah.
And yes, it was his idea. They all like, I don't know, like that was not a good win for the company. So maybe if you knocked it out of the park, you'd be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah. Some of that was mismanagement too, though. I think, like Josh was saying, like, why did you do 500 of the signature editions? Right, make that that's their super high FOMO item. Like, do like 50 of them and sell. Were they like $18,000 or something you wanted for those? Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We can move on. There you go. There's a segment. There's always something.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. It's game room update time.
Yeah.
I've got some show and tell from Expo that I'm going to do for mine. So let's bring it over here. First up, I got one of these guys. Nick, have you seen these? You know what that is?
I was thinking about that the other day. I think that's a mod I do need. But I want to hear your review.
Ooh, Pin Snake. So I haven't used him yet. I like he's got little eyeballs.
You haven't used it?
I don't
Bring it
run home and
back.
immediately
Okay.
start
Bring
cleaning
it back
my pinball
next month.
machines. But it's like I've been away. I must clean my pinball machines. So this is, if you haven't seen this is if you have a pinball machine with ramps on it, you want to clean under the ramps. You take the rag and you attach it to the Pin Snake because he's got Velcro on him. And
Wait,
then,
it comes. It's like a custom rag.
Yeah, it's basically
So how many rags do they give you?
just one, but
I feel like they should give you a
you
couple.
can put anything on there. Any microfiber on there would work.
Okay.
You just put them on there and there you go.
How much was that bad boy?
I think $40.
Oof.
Yeah. Well, I got it mostly for Tron because Tron drives me crazy with its white and yellow orbits. Basically, as soon as you play it, it gets dirty, and it's super hard to get back there in the orbits without taking the ramps off and everything. So it's my Tron cleaning device.
Berg Bookie says, I bought it. It sucks. There's no downward pressure, so it basically doesn't do anything in terms of cleaning all the ground and black crap around orbits, etc. Yeah, that's what I was worried about, right? Berg Bookie, like, you obviously need pressure to get stuff, right? Like, you can't just kind of wave it around and hope for the best. So I was hoping that it would work out. And Kevin will give a review next time.
We'll see.
if he's cleaning.
Yep.
Try to get his games dirty.
So Brooklyn Pin disagrees. Works great on my games. All right, there's going to be a fight in the chat.
There we go.
Over the
There we
Pin
go.
Snake.
Okay.
What's going on?
Maybe, all right, Brooklyn Pin, if you've got any tips to help Berg Bookie and the rest of us, let us know.
Oh, here we go. Chat's blowing up over the Pin Snake.
Oh, wow. Another one, Game Club Central. Mine works very well. Okay. What do you guys put on it? Do you guys like spray some like Novus 1 to kind of get it a little bit wet? Because if you have it maybe a little moist, it will pick some up.
If there's you got to follow the Pin Snake instructions. So
all right.
Make sure.
All right. Dave says his works great. There we go.
That's how you Pin Snake right there. The guy was super nice too, so we'll give it a shot.
All right. Happy to hear. Let's go.
Pin Snake hype. Shout out to Charles Acosta of Pinball Photos fame. He hooked me up with the shirt, the pennies. It's got like new characters. He's doing like shirts and stuff. He's like, we were just chatting. He's like, here, have a shirt. So I was like, all right, I'll wear it on the show. Appreciate it. We were walking around and Dave was like, man, how come I don't get free stuff? Cause I need to be on a show. I was like, all it takes is hundreds of hours of your life, thousands of dollars of investing your in equipment, and then you can get a free $25 shirt. So it's totally worth it. But no, I appreciate it. People hook it up. Always good. This was another one that got gifted to me from the art. The author is Tanner Walters. Art by Dylan Andrews. It's a pinball kids book. It's pretty neat. I was like, what am I going to do with this? I don't have any, my kid is 17 now. But it's got like little whoop, whoop. You slide and play, so you can play pinball. And you open this up and the plunger comes out and woo, play pinball. Yeah. So actually I have a coworker who's pregnant, so I'm going to give this to her so she can indoctrinate her children into the pinball club. Use the flippers. There's pop bumpers. Pretty good stuff. You can get that at somewhere. The pinballscientist.com if you wanna get yourself a pinball book. So thanks for that. What else? I got you something. I got you some Pulp Fiction stuff. I don't know if you got these already.
Oh,
they had the best like gimmick of the show.
is that any different? That just looks like a card that's in the game
it's
already.
like the instruction cards. I don't know. It's probably the same. I don't know. And some stickers.
Yeah, got it.
But they had the briefcase from Pulp Fiction, and he would open it up and it would light up, and he would hand you one, and he'd close the briefcase.
Amazing.
It was really good. It was a good gimmick. What else? I think that was it. Been playing a lot of Princess Bride. I didn't talk about that in my Pinball Expo segment because I already own the game. I play it all the time. Didn't wait in line to play it at Expo because I can play it at home. But great game. A lot of people played it there. Got to visit with the folks at the booth with the P3 machine, so that was good. And we got a picture, all sorts of stuff. So that's about it. I did a lot of Expo. I talked a lot about my game room updates already.
You did good, Kevin. So I don't have massive game room updates. I can just say what game have I been playing. So my go-to game in the last month has been Pirates. I'm on the newest beta code. Really, man, I've really been enjoying that game. I feel like after all these years, I'm just kind of relaxed with it, playing it a lot, enjoying all like the nice polish they put into it. Really looking forward to when that game, is officially fully released and the final wizard mode is in there. It sounds like that's coming. Never thought I would see that day. If anybody can help me, man, I've got like ever since I updated that game to the newest code, I've had problems with my audio. It's getting pops. The audio also like locks on, Kevin. Sometimes it will do this like, and then the audio will resume.
Yeah,
but like kind of like when a game freezes, right? Like but like the visuals the game continues on. Everything else works fine. The video, and then it fixes itself in like 2 seconds later. So I don't know. Something's going on. If anybody can help me, it only seemed to happen after I updated the game. So I don't know.
Yeah, so you're running the latest beta? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, well, when I actually had the official latest official branch on, my game was resetting. Like it would start resetting on its own. The beta at least fixed the reset on it, but I'm just getting some random like audio pops, and the audio will lock on sometime. So I don't know.
Kyle says to send it to him and he'll fix it for you.
That's really nice.
He'll eventually send it back.
You can come over and I've got a futon in the basement. You can hang out for the week and work on it, and we'll feed you.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh yeah, it could be the ground loop isolator. That'd be an easy thing to swap.
But why would that go?
Well, it might just be failing.
That lock on?
Yeah, I don't know.
But
it does feel more like a software or maybe a hardware thing. I don't know.
Yeah, if you guys know how to reach me, feel free. Yeah, if you guys know how to reach me, ping me, because I seem to be the only one on the forum that has that problem. So, got to be a hardware. Okay, I can give some updates on the Pinball Club. How's that sound?
Pinball Club. Let's go.
So, hopefully opening up by the end of the year. We started opening up memberships. We kind of just been doing a soft launch of that with like people who have expressed interest in the last year and a half of joining. So we're limiting what we call full memberships to 20 people only. And the full membership is $1,200 a year. It gives you 7-day-a-week keycard access to the club. The club should have a minimum of 40 games there. So you can go and play this collection. Bring some friends as guests. It's like a household membership as well, so everybody in your household can come. So I think that's pretty unique. I'm not sure if there's other clubs out there that do like kind of a key card access and limit it like that. Really excited. We've got 11 people signed up so far without really even trying or putting this out there that publicly. And then we're going to have another level. It's going to called like an associate member. That's kind of like think of it as like a tournament and league player member, where it's like a $300 level for the year, and it gets you into all tournaments and leagues. We're not planning on having any additional charges for tournaments and leagues, so it covers like everything, except if you want to do like some side pot of money or something that's on you. But very excited. That's coming along. The place is all painted. Flooring's going to be going in soon. Once it's all up, once we have games in there, I'll probably work with Dave Sousa. So Dave does an awesome job of videos. So maybe we'll make them over like he does really good short ones, but we'll make a long form tour of the place and talk about it. So super pumped, super excited for that.
Yeah, Pinball Club, and you gave like some tours of where it's at right now, recently, right before League.
Yeah, we've been doing tours and updates and getting hyped. So like I said, I'm psyched, because once that 20 fills up, we will determine every year how many full members we'll have. So if in 2026 we decide to leave it at 20, that's it. So it's only when somebody drops out, somebody new gets in. So that's limited time, Kevin. You know how you do it. You sell these the LE.
Yeah.
You get in and get early.
You're not gonna just up it to 500 and pull a day fix and be like,
no, it's by year. It's in our bylaws.
Oh,
weird. That's how we operate. So
nice.
We got some sweet perks. We got a jukebox that Dave Sousa found for us, and all full members will get to put at least probably 5 CDs in there.
There you go.
So you can customize the music in there for you.
Fit all the Michael McDonald in there that you want.
You can do that. You can do that. Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's move on. We got oh my God, we've got a review finally.
We got a review.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, let's play the intro. We got a video for that. Here we go.
Let's go.
I am okay. Looks like this war, the least I've gotten waiting for. Are you ready for your eye exam?
Yeah, we're reviewing The Godfather, released by Jersey Jack Pinball in 2023. Game designed by Eric Minier, software by Keith Johnson, artwork by Christopher Franchi and Jesper Abels, sound by the animation by JP DeWin and Mark Molitor. Pricing is $12,000 for the LE, $15,000 for the CE. That's the standard JJP pricing for the past few years. And Nick, why don't you kick it off with some thoughts on the rules? I'll show off some pictures while you talk about the game.
Thoughts on the rules. So I love the rules on this game. This game utilizes a couple fundamental rules that I like, which is multipliers. I do like that. I think it makes scoring dynamic and interesting. And certainly choosing when to activate the multipliers. And it also has a push your luck mechanic where when you're playing a mode, you'll get points in that mode where you hit the ball in the scoop. It says, do you want to cash out or do you want to keep on going? I really like that, right? Like, oh, do I really want to, am I feeling it right now? Do I really want to try to rack up a score, or do I cash out this mode? And when I do cash out the mode, it actually gives you like perks, like it will increase the multi-ball scoring in one of the multi-balls, or give you an additional ball during multi-ball. Some people tell me that they're confused by this game, and I'm not really sure why. I'm trying to be charitable and understand it, but I've had numerous people say that. The game is pretty. Think about it this way: it's pretty straightforward. Hit it in the scoop, start a mode. Okay, you can play the mode. At certain moments, the scoop will have an insert that you can put it in the scoop again, and it will ask you if you want to cash it or keep on going, and that's it. And you kind of play through the modes. And there's 4 special modes in the game where you kind of get locked into it, and you can't just kind of like time it out. You actually got to play through that and beat it. So it kind of stops you from just rushing through the game, which is nice, because you could just, instead of trying to play for score, just start a mode, cash out as soon as possible, move on, and which again is nice. It also offers the player optionality and decision making. So these are 2 things I really like. Obviously, again, multipliers, pushing your luck mechanics. And then another thing, I maybe add a third one is kind of the path of play. If I want to do focus more on score, or if I want to progress the game. Now, if you progress through the game, obviously you can get a great score as well, because you kind of get perks that will make things more valuable. I think the rules to me are are very close to perfect in terms of like the style of the game. And I'm really starting to appreciate, like Keith Johnson rules over kind of like the traditional Stern rules where you get locked out of things like, oh my God, like I'm starting to think of how bad and frustrating it is where you in a Stern game, you start a multi-ball and you're like, oh my God, I don't have a mode running. I'm wasting this multi-ball. Like I almost just I can't make progress through the game anymore. I need to just drain or just play this multi-ball and pick up points. I really like the Keith Johnson rule of like, everything is like always on the table, right? You can always you're always progressing through the game, whether you're in multi-ball or not. When you're in multi-ball, you can start modes and you're just making progress. Seems a little chaotic. I get that because there's a lot happening and it takes time to kind of figure out what's happening. But as a player, that makes the game always interesting to me. And I think it speeds up the game as well. So big fan of the rules. Though a couple things on the rules. There's some bugs in there still. One thing that's aggravating is the mode timers still continue, even when the ball's in the shooter lane. That should not happen. That seems like a super simple fix. It's pretty annoying that that's not been addressed now. And also the wizard mode. So we're coming up on 2 years of this game being out. We're over a year and a half, and the wizard mode is missing from this game. So sitting next to Godfather's My Pirates, it's also missing the wizard mode, which has been missing now for going on 6 years. And allegedly, Keith saw Kevin at Expo, and he's like, it's coming. It's coming. So, but right now it doesn't exist.
Yep.
So when we'll talk, that will deeply affect the score of this game. I will say that. But I will say also, Keith is right now my favorite rules designer. I love the rules philosophy of never locking the player out of progress. That is how I prefer to play a pinball machine these days.
Yeah, I think where the confusion might come from this game is they've integrated the terminology of the game to the theme, which is good, but then I think it confuses people. So like, what are soldiers? What does your family do? What are these jobs? You know what I mean? So it's like you just have to kind of translate a little bit. So the jobs are the modes, right? And the soldiers are basically just like hitting your qualifying shots. So you have to hit enough shots, you get enough soldiers, and then you can play a mode. So I think after you figure those little things out, that'll help. One of the comments in chat is that the confusing thing about JJP is with so many lights on all the time. And I agree. I think that can be confusing because usually it's like shoot the thing that's lit for this mode. But to Nick's point, with Keith's rules, there's always a lot going on. So you're not just in a mode. There's usually other things happening. But it's a balance of like they want to use all these crazy LEDs to put on these awesome light shows, but also maybe it's not quite as obvious to figure out when you're playing on location what might be happening, which I think that's fair. But it also makes it more interesting when you're playing at home. I think the playfield multiplier system is not totally obvious when you first start either, but as soon as somebody explains it to you, you're like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Basically, if you don't know, you shoot a spinner and it fills up there's like the brass knuckles in the middle of the game on the playfield. And it'll go to what I think 3.5x, and then you hit the button 3 or 4 times. That lights it, uses it, but the next time you use it, or the next time you want to use it, you can build it up to the next level. So basically, you always want to be using that multiplier, building it up, so you can eventually get up to 10x playfield, which is pretty crazy. So
yeah, that is the most confusing. The playfield multiplier is the most confusing thing. It's hard to figure out on your own without taking the time to learn how it works. So am I telling you or looking up the rules? And now like, look, I think if you have a pinball machine that you just step up to out in public and you expect to understand everything about that game or intuitively pick up on everything, it's probably not much going on. It's probably not going to hold your long-term interest. Yes, you might understand it, but I don't think that's what any of us really wants, especially when we're reviewing these games. I'm really doing it from the perspective of, is this game worth buying, and putting your home and spending time on? And now in the day of age, like, go to Tilt forums, read how to play the game. But yeah, it's a mode-based game. Multiplier is a little weird to learn, but once you get that down, you can certainly start enjoying it.
All right. I think that's good for the rules. Let's talk about the art. Thoughts on the art? I'll bring us some pictures.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the art on this game. I mean, I'm not the best art critic in the world, but I think it's I love the black and the red. It's not too busy, but it's detailed enough. I think the playfield in particular is really well done. There's certain areas that are quite detailed, but then it's got a lot of space that is just kind of like solid colors. So contrast this to like a zombie Yeti thing. There is detail. It's very well done. But my eyes, I don't go like cross-eyed looking at it because I can actually focus on certain details and focus on certain things and segments of the machine. It doesn't exactly have shot lines, which I like, but I don't have any problem at the same time really finding the shots that much. It does have some. I think that the shot lines are pretty well done. Actually, it's blended nicely with the playfield. So. The art to me is like I don't know, it's like a 10 out of 10. I love the art style. It's about as busy as I want to see a pinball machine get. It kind of just reaches that max and knows not to go over it.
Yeah, it's a sharp looking game. I really like the look of the LE in particular, the black trim and the red cabinet. The the CE is kind of over the top with the gaudiness, which I think fits the theme, but here, let me see if I can find it here. But I'm not a huge fan of, like, it's got this crazy gold trim and this really gaudy like art around sculpture around the action bar. The cabinet itself, let me see if I can find those the horse head thing, which I'm never a huge fan of the weird shooter knobs, but you know, shout out for the horse head. There's the leg attachments. super cheesy. But yeah, the people that get it, they really go all out with the gold trim and everything, and the CE does have the inner art, which is I can take it or leave it. I actually kind of like the plain black on the LE. It kind of goes nicely, and it's a good looking game. Sound. What do you think on the sound?
Yeah, so after our boy left, JJP.
David Thiel.
Yeah, David Thiel, huge David Thiel fan. The JJP sound, not great. Like I do not like the sound on Guns N' Roses at all. I think it's pretty terrible. However, I think the sound. Who did the sound on this? I have it wrong. I don't have sound.
No.
Sorry. Okay, so who did the sound on this? I think did a good job. A lot of clarinet. I think it fits the theme. I think it's good. The music's good in the game. Here's the sound effects are good when it hits like they added it in an update. I mean, now it's probably a year ago, but like when you hit the ventures, it has like a sound effect for the ventures, which is nice. There's a lot of like ventures in the game that you do, like a horse racing venture will have like a sound associated with that, right? What I struggle with to talk about the sound is the character kind of call outs. Like the narrator's fine, that voice, right? That tells you kind of what's going on in the game. But like it does like the stereotypical like Italian kind of almost
bada bing,
yeah, very comedic.
Yep.
Sopranos was like that, the pinball, right? Like you almost think that Sopranos was a comedy when you play that pinball machine. Right. So it has a tonal problem, right? Where Godfather is a very kind of serious, dramatic, slow movie. There are some kind of comedic moments, but very few. Like it breaks the tension. But again, these are kind of cartoonish mobsters. I don't know. I mean, I could see somebody not liking it. I kind of don't. I'm kind of totally fine with it. I'm not a huge Godfather movie fan. In fact, I never even saw the movies until I got this game. So I'm not bothered by it. But if somebody criticized that portion of it, I would understand, right? It's not lost on me.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I'm kind of the same way. Until I knew this game was coming out, I had never watched the movies. And now that I've watched it multiple times. It's an amazing movie, obviously, but there's a reason why it's one of the most highly regarded movies of all time. But yeah, I could see if you were like a diehard fan of this movie, it'd be like, especially, and we'll get into the animations and stuff where, like, who are these people that you're showing during these battles and stuff? It's the people from JJP. It's kind of cheesy, and some of the call outs and stuff are a little off, like you were saying. But I do like they have a lot of voice calls from the movies. You'll get full clips with sound during like the intros for the modes and things like that. So I think good integration of assets without going too overboard with stuff either.
And I did hear the other day, and I made this request on the podcast when it came out, like, look how they massacred my boy. Sorry, that's not, I got it, but like, they have that in there, so thank God.
Yeah.
There we go.
Job.
That's good. Yes, good point, Kevin. I would have missed that. Yes, they do have a good amount of call-outs from the movie. So I think tonally it's kind of at odds at times, but
yeah,
I'm not deterred or bothered by it. It just doesn't like crush the theme, I guess, right? Like the theme integration is a little off, maybe.
It's a little quirky, I would say. A little quirky.
Yeah.
Toys. Let's talk about toys. It's got one main big bad guy in the middle. That's the main toy, right?
I know. So the playfield toys, which gets people, right? Like this is where the bill of materials went on this game, is all the diverters and what the game's doing of moving the ball, which that's where I rather the money go personally. So what we're left to talk about is there's the gangster toy. The gangster toy kind of turns back and forth. He's got a little Tommy gun LED that he'll occasionally shoot. Allegedly he fouls the ball, Kevin. Is that what allegedly he's supposed to be doing?
Oh, I don't know. If he does, I don't really pay attention.
Yeah, I thought I heard somebody say that, but I don't really pay attention. I don't think much about him. And then he's got underneath him is like a spinning disc. So after you get to, what the bad guy represents is, you're fighting like the head of the family or somebody in the family, and you got to kill, I think, or take down. Is it 8 or 10 of them?
I think
maybe
8.
10 of them. Maybe. Okay.
Okay. I don't know.
8 or 10 of them. Anyways, so they become progressively more difficult as you go on. Of course, there's a nice little health bar, which I think is done by the hot rails, which looks really good. I like how that's represented in the game. That's his health. When you get to like the 3rd or 4th bad guy, then there's like the spinning wheel mechanic up there that the player can control, like a spinning disc, and you use the flipper buttons to spin it in either direction. And I think a hit counts on when you hit that metal bob in the middle. That's when you score a hit on the bad guy. You got to beat him up. And then once you do it like enough, it like puts the ball back into play. I think so that's like the toy. I think the concept doesn't work that great. I'm fine with it in there. I don't like hate it, but it's pretty easy to hit the bad guy a lot of times when you're spinning it. Eric told me one time that he got so good at it that they had to actually, after you get a couple hits, they had to drop it back into play, and I can see why. So it's the toy is not amazing. It's okay. Yeah. It's almost like a Stern toy, right? Like, I mean, to be honest, it's like a Stern level toy.
Yeah, it's a little bit better than that, but yeah, it's not great.
At best, a little bit better. I mean, we're so far removed from like the Jersey Jack Pirates, like moving pirate ship kind of deal.
Yeah, I do like that after a while you have to shoot it around the orbit and then it goes in the back and you fight it that way. So it's not,
agreed.
Kind of changes it up after you've been doing it a while. So it's not always the same. But yeah, other than that, it's kind of all right. It's dangerous too. So, which I suppose is good, but if you're shooting it up the middle, it can sometimes get you.
Yep.
But it makes sense because you're fighting the bad guy. So.
Yep.
Other toys, I mean, there's other cool mechs. I wouldn't call them toys. I like the little compound area where you shoot it into this little horseshoe and it locks up there, and it's got these 2 walls, and it can turn into a little captive ball area. That's pretty neat. Anything else? Just like lots of diverters and
that's the thing about
stuff.
the diverters is like the ball just moves in so many different ways. Like you shoot one shot and it comes out of this other things and it changes during gameplay. That is really like, when I call it toys or mechs, if we're being generous, that is really where the game shines, and just all the diverters in the game changing the path of the ball. It really makes this game, we'll talk about this in gameplay a little bit, but it really makes this game dynamic and interesting with what it does with the ball movement. So very, very cool and innovative, what Eric Minier did. And it's like, you don't see these really diverters happening. Like it moves the ball. It's all happening underneath the play field. But it's very creative in what's going on in this game.
All right. Let me bring up some video while we talk about the. You can see Rob Metzler play. Remember him?
Oh, I don't really remember him. That's probably the last time I saw him.
I
Check if he's still alive.
Let's talk about the display and lighting. So, again, I mean, when I got asked earlier, what is better than XMen? I mean, just take a look at this. look at the display work on this game versus
Dude,
what
it's
you get on
amazing.
XMen. Yeah.
It's so good. The display in this game is just so well done, so good. JP DeWin is, I mean, he's the master, dude.
Yeah, every time I see him at a show, I give him a little extra thanks. It's like really appreciate what
Yeah.
you're doing, and he's bringing on other people who are just as talented. So, they do this seamless integration of like how that full screen went onto that newspaper and then it spun out.
Exactly.
Now it's like in the center.
Yeah.
When you step back and look at what's actually happening, it's pretty amazing. And then in the upper right, it shows you what your ball locks are, and bottom left, all this, and they kind of take a little bit of a different approach per game. But that's also good because it's like building the theme into the display too.
It's a thing of beauty. You can
Yeah.
just watch the display in it and just marvel at it. I love the stained glass effect that they went for in this. It's just so well done.
It's really good, really good.
The only thing I don't like on the display, I mean, like they use love JJP, but they use like the JJP employees as kind of the bad guys that you're fighting, and either their pictures or animated of them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's
I don't know what you do in that case. Like I get the predicament, but I'd rather probably they just use some like generic or made up some folks. I have no idea. It's a little cheesy.
What if they use stock footage of barbecue meats?
Whew.
No, not so much.
I'm speechless, Kevin.
Okay. Yeah, you can actually change that. So this was the video I'm showing is when I first got the game. So this is kind of how it comes stock. And this is an older version of the software at this point, but you can switch it, and I've switched mine to have the static images.
No,
So-
static is stock.
Oh, is it? And now you
It is,
have to
yeah.
turn on the animations.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe they switched that, or maybe I just don't remember right. But yeah, I like it better with the static personally. And lighting, it's got if you've seen a JJP game, you kind of know what to expect. It's got the hot rails down the sides, full lighting effect. So, when you're in main play, like you're seeing right now on the stream, it's just solid white. But when you get stuff going, it freaks out. In the bottom left there of the playfield camera, you can see the health bar for the bad guy, which is pretty cool. What else? Yeah, lots of blinky flashy lights. If you like LEDs, you'll like this game.
It's a beautiful game.
Yep.
All right.
Gameplay. Nick Lane, take it away.
Yeah. This is I love the gameplay on this. I don't think it's perfect, but I do love it. And I was talking about this earlier in the podcast. I think I even talked about it last month. But we're in this time where game length and game time in pinball machines have crept up to, Lord of the Rings level, right? Where it's gotten out of hand. I can see myself selling Jaws in the next year just because the game is just way too long playing, way too safe of shots that, I've played it enough that I can just play way too long and it gets boring. This game to me is the kind of perfect, it just came together so well. It's the perfect difficulty and length and play for me. And that's like, it's got an open play field, a lot of shots in back. But what keeps it from being this kind of monster long playing game is that the lower portion of the playfield is can be brutal and challenging. Eric has like this slingshot that's above the normal slingshot. It's on the side left wall that will throw the ball, kind of left to right action. He's got the lower right pop bumper, which can send the game going crazy. If you try to hit the compound shot to lock for 2-ball multi-ball, which is a great shot, it's right there, man. But what keeps you from constantly going for it is that there's a lot of danger, and if you miss that, there's a good chance you're going to drain. So I can play this game, and I can have a lot of like short playing games where my game's over very quickly, and I love that. I absolutely love that because I can be on a break for lunch and I can play this game and I know I can play this game, where I can't play Jaws. I'll run out of time probably, right? And it makes me hit the start button again because like, oh man, I got a bad break. I'll get it next time. And sometimes I do get it next time. This game is deep, and you can certainly go into longer, and you can certainly have a longer playing game, but it's not every time. And to me, that's the perfect game, right? You're chasing that long playing game. You're chasing that deep game, but a lot of times you're just getting brutalized. It's that randomness of pinball. It's the ball is wild, which a lot of games being made today has forgotten that. There's way too many safe shots. There's not too many shots in other games that ball's coming back at you. This game will keep you on your toes. The ball is constantly in motion. This game, the game rarely holds on to the ball for a long period of time, which is nice. So I don't know. I think Eric did just a phenomenal job here in level of difficulty, level of the ball is wild. How do the shots feel? I like hitting the left and right orbits. I like ripping the spinners. We talked about the diverters. I like how the ball changes paths. I like that right ramp that it comes down and kind of goes to the right and hits a drop target, and a stand-up target, and then comes and swoops to the right flipper. That's very cool. I like hitting the up and down flap on the shot to the left of the bad guy, where when it's up, it will hold the ball for it and then release it, and you try to shoot it in the hideout. I like that on the upper flipper shot. There's several shots to hit from that, and they're not easy. If I have maybe one criticism that I can think of right now is that, that shot from the upper left flipper to that upper ramp, it's not the most smooth thing ever. I mean, you really got to nail it and get it right. A lot of times you'll kind of hit it and the ball will roll back down, which, doesn't feel great as a pinball player. Obviously, that's my fault as a player for not hitting it perfectly, but I'd rather be an all or nothing. I'd rather if I hit the shot, it just works, rather than a shot that kind of goes halfway up and comes down. That might be my only criticism, and it's so slight and so small. And then just we probably could have talked about this in rules, but it's also gameplay. There's a lot of skill shots on this game that you can play around with. Kevin, do you remember how many there are?
Dude, there's so many, because there's like standard skill shots and then super skill shots, and
there's more than 10. I mean, there's like between 10 and 20 skill shots. So just a lot of optionality with the game. And it's not like you need to know and memorize what the skill shots are, because it's not going to make a profound difference in the game. If you have a good game, you're going to get through the game, or you're going to get a good score. But it's just it's a nice thing, and there's so much here for this game.
Did you talk about? I really like the return of the right ramp. How it kind of super fast. Yep. Yeah, how it flies up into that X target, the multiplier target. So it's really cool. Yeah, I think you covered all the things I like. All the diverters are great. The thing I like most about this game is the interesting layout, and I think it's, the 2 ramps and a couple orbits, it gets really boring after a while, and this does a good job of making a creative layout, but also something that's approachable for the most part. Now, a lot of the shots are far back, so if you miss your shot, you can usually recover, but if you send it out of control, then it's going to get into those dangerous areas like Nick was saying. Yeah, so you gotta be on your toes. It'll definitely keep you on your toes. And that when this game first came out, the ball savers were a lot longer on it, so it did become one of those just like get a multi-ball going and then plow through a bunch of modes. Now you have to play it a lot more deliberately, a lot more carefully, and that definitely made it a better game, I think, even though it's a lot harder.
That's a great point. I like that Keith toned down the multi-balls. I think that's a great choice. And again, it makes you keep on hitting the start button. I think people have forgotten that pinball machines are not supposed to be baby games. Like these long, like every pinball machine is not supposed to be this long playing baby game. And I can't help but wonder if some people don't like this game because it is hard. But that's what makes it good. That's what makes go out and buy hard games. Like, don't go out and buy a game that you're gonna beat in no time or sit there playing for an hour. Have those games in the collection, they're fine, but get a game like this where it'll keep you on your toes and you've got to learn how to nudge and you got to get better. I love it. I'm kind of bummed because so many games are just veering towards let's make them super long and super safe and super easy.
Yeah, that's what the people who make the mods, oh my god, tangentially, And have you visited the Labyrinth thread lately, where people are making all these outlane mods to babyfy the game?
No, this didn't, like, guys, this did not. I got in the hobby in December 2010. October 2010. Okay. This is a new weird phenomenon where people are dumbing, like, these games are easy enough that they're releasing and people are making them easier. Like, why do you want the game to be that long? Or just get better. It's so cool to have a game that it's like, oh man, I owned that game for 5 years and I finally got to this in the game. Like, there's more to do. Like, that's great. Like, get better, see progress. That's life.
Have some challenge, people.
Have some challenge. Yeah, like, earn it. Like, that's fine. Like, we all, like, start off sucking at something, and, like, the way you get better is an investment of time into it.
Well, that plays into our next category, which is lastability, where, if you got a game that provides a challenge, it's going to have more lastability than a game that you're just like plowing through and like, okay, I did all the things, right? So, like, you want a game to be challenging. If you want, on a game like this, if you want to make it easier, there are ways out of the box to make it easier. You can do it in software settings. You can do it. You can change your outlane post settings, but you don't need to go reconfiguring the geometry because the designer knows what they're doing, right?
I think the best way to describe, like, what's the phenomenon of these games is, like, when I'm playing Godfather, I need to be alert and engaged, because one false move and I can drain. Right? It could be a dangerous game. When I'm playing a game like Jaws, I'm almost like in autopilot, super casual, relaxed, or rush, right? Like, they're just, I feel like I'm half there. I'm half playing the game. I could be half asleep and I'm not worried. Versus a game like, obviously it's not Iron Man, which is super brutal, but, like, I want to be on edge. I want to be focused. I want to be prepared that the ball can go in a direction where I need to make a major save or move the machine a lot, right? Like, that's fun. That's keeping me on the edge. That's how pinball should be. Anyways, we can move on, Kev.
Yeah, I think that's we've talked. Obviously, this is a game that lasts because it's there's a lot to do in it, rules wise. Also, it can be tough to play. That's kind of the bottom.
Well, they didn't have to. What's interesting is, like, a lot of games these days have a lot of content, so they're like, oh well, we've got to make it so the player can play long enough to see some of that content. This game didn't sacrifice. This game's got plenty of content, but it didn't make it a baby game so people can get in there and see all the content.
Right.
So that's what I like.
All right.
But I believe I can. I believe I can get to the end of the game, and I'm sure you can believe that as well.
You can do it. Just have faith in here.
Yeah.
You can do it. Quality. Once it takes on the quality, I feel like it's a quality game.
When I put quality, it's like build quality.
Okay. Have you had any significant issues? You had something going on with, like, your light boards or something, right?
So yes, knock on wood, I really haven't had mechanical issues, but I have a problem where my game has locked up with the light board. It tends to happen in, like, longer games when I've been playing for a while, like I'm really deep into the game. So it's hard for me to replicate it. I don't really know what the problem is. I don't know how often it's going to happen, if it's a fluke. So that's one worry. It's happened to a friend of ours. I think it's happened to some other people. So
yeah, I've had it happen on mine before too. I think it's usually like a loose cable. I reseated USB cables.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully it's just that. So
yeah, two things that I've had to repair on mine. When I first got it, the bad guy, like, wasn't, like, configured right out of the factory or something, and it needed some adjustment there where they were just like, yeah, we'll just send you another one. So I just swapped him out. And then I did have one of my light boards freak out at the beginning where I had to swap the light board. But in both instances, JJP took care of it. They just sent me parts, and I sent them back my other stock part for no cost. So all good, easy fixes. And they stand behind their product, which is good. Yeah.
So quality's been good. Quality's been good on it. Yeah.
What does this game bring you joy, Nicolene?
Yeah, I love this game. Absolutely love this game. And I think what's even more impressive is, like, the theme does nothing for me at all. Like, I just think, like, this game stands on its own merits of just being a really well done, great game. It checks all the boxes for me. It's a game that I can't ever see myself parting with. It's just yeah, it's so good. I love playing it. I love the artistry in it. I love all the diverting shots. I love the uniqueness of the playfield that Eric created. Shots are satisfying. I think this game I have just a blast playing. I think it's so good. I'm pretty shocked that it's only sitting at 50 something and prices have plummeted on it. That's like, I don't know. Like I just sometimes I think I understand the what makes a game like gonna sell well and do well and be great. I'm really shocked about this game. It's got obviously a very, very well known theme. I think it's so well done. I don't know, but yeah, the joy factor is like 9 out of 10 for me. I think the only thing I would put at 10 out of 10 is if it was like my dream theme or something, right? Like
Right,
that's the
right.
only thing that's really missing.
Yeah, I'm a little less on this. I think, and I listed mine for sale not too long ago, just because I want to like. It's like eventually you get to a point where you got to sell something to buy something. And that's where you're at with Rush too. Like you like that game, but it's got to go right if you want to get something new. I don't know. It's like I don't find myself playing it a ton these days. I played it a lot for the first year and a half that I had it, and it's kind of fallen off a little bit. Maybe if like a code update came out that polished it up a little bit, I'd get back into it. Again, it's like the theme is kind of whatever. The rules are fun. It's a challenging game. I don't know, just for whatever reason, it's not like clicking to where it's like this is an amazing game that I have to keep forever. And that's art. That's games. Like different games and different things appeal to different people. And for me personally, it's like, oh, maybe I'll move this on. And actually, I might end up getting an avatar. But it's like, oh man, like you said, prices just drop. So it's so hard to pull the trigger on a new game if the price price is gonna go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it is fun. Like I think if you're sleeping on this game, it's a good one. You're gonna have a good time with it. Even if you're not that into the theme, I think the layout is interesting enough that it's worth playing and giving a shot to. So, all right, let's put a final number on this. So, before we run through the table, I will say I sent Nick a screenshot of this on Pinside. I went into the Domino's Pinball Adventure thread because I have a lingering interest in that game because Nick and our voices are in it, and we know Adam, and we went down for the stream. So I went in there, and somebody was like, they never finished the code on this. If you ever watch Buffalo Pinball and they talk about a game being a box of lights, then this is it. So shout out. I haven't even participated in that thread in forever. So our scoring key, if you're new here, 0 to 2 is a burn it. That's your barbecue. Appropriately, barbecue would fall in the burn it category. Expensive nightlight is 3 to 5. 6 to 8 is a solid game. 9 to 10 is a get your wallets out. Where you at on this one, Nick?
All right, here it is. This would be a 9 out of 10. It would be. However, it's going to have to pay a huge penalty because it's now a year and a half later, over a year and a half, and there's no wizard mode. The final wizard mode is not in it. You've got ball save timers that haven't been fixed and still run. So it is a 7 out of 10. Big penalty. I think if you get past a year and it's missing the main wizard mode, then that is totally unacceptable. You shouldn't have to get to a year. You really shouldn't. Like 6 months is like pushing it in my book. But man, a year and a half is just unacceptable. I said it last time. I'm not buying any more Keith games until he starts correcting not finishing his game. So that is a stain on this game for me. I absolutely love it. It's a 9 out of 10 if it was in there and everything, but I can't in good conscience give it that.
So to Keith's credit, apparently Avatar has the wizard mode in there, so there's that. But to me, this game, even if it had a wizard mode in it, I would probably still have it at like a 7.5.
Yeah, terrible taste.
That's about where I'd put this game. It's a solid game. That's solid. It's solid. I rated it higher than Nick, but it's not going to change if the wizard mode. I mean, maybe the wizard mode's amazing, and the code update will tweak other things. But that's kind of where I'm at with Godfather.
All right. There we go.
I think it's time to pull a winner. So if you haven't yet, #win. We're giving away a set of Pin Stadium Neo Atoms. We'll show those off. If you haven't, you got to be in Twitch chat. #win will get you in. It's going to go to somebody who hasn't won before. So if you're making off with all the Pin Stadiums, we're going to give them to somebody else. Yeah, this is your last shot. $399.95 value. So it pays to listen to Brody Even Talk Pinball, especially to watch us live and hang out and chat. If you haven't yet, if you're listening to the podcast version of this and you're like, man, I'm among the thousands of people who watch this or listen to this after the fact, follow us on social media. Best thing to do is just go to Twitch and turn on your alerts, and then you'll get the alert when we go live. And then you can tune in live and win yourself a $400 set of Pin Stadiums. All right? So let's go ahead and pull a winner. We're up to 67 entries. We're going to draw an entrant. Oh, somebody else sneaking in here at the last minute. Oh, it's Blasto. Blasto is the winner. We're going to announce you in chat.
That's good, because I don't think Blasto's ever won this before, so there we go.
Blasto says, fuck yes. Blasto.
We got to 69 entries. Good job. Oh,
yeah, nice. Yeah, some of you guys got in there too late. Good job, Blasto. I assume that means you accept, so you go ahead and accept. Good job. I will send you a private message on Twitch, the Twitch Whispers, and we'll get your contact information over to Pin Stadium, and they will hook you up ASAP with the hot set of Pin Stadiums. So congratulations, Blasto. Thanks for watching. You did it this month.
Wait, we got something else, right, Kevin?
We do.
We're not done.
We're not done. We're not quite ready yet. We got to give the plug. So if you haven't yet, go buy some merch, buffalopinball.com. Click that merch button and get yourself a hot Buffalo Pinball shirt to wear to the next Pinball Expo or your next pinball show. I had somebody was asking Dave about his skull shirt, and he thought it was pretty sweet. We were at a grocery store. We weren't even at a pinball show, and he was asking him about it. Follow us on social media. We're on all the ones at the bottom of your screen. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I said Facebook already, but Facebook twice. And Discord. We're Buffalo Pinball all over the place there. Send us an email, talkpinball@gmail.com if you want to give some feedback. Again, follow and sub the Twitch channel. If you got Twitch Prime, it's a great way to subscribe to the channel and support us at no extra charge and get double your entries on those hot giveaways every month. And drop a review. If you like what you're listening to, tell a friend. Check out Brody Even Talk Pinball every single month. And leave us a review. Go ahead. I give you permission. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to the show. Tell everybody else how much you love the show. Nick, anything else before we send it to Topper Talk episode 25?
I don't want to delay Goran's time in the sun, so let's do it.
All right, here's what you've been listening for. Topper Talk, baby. We'll see you next month.
It's Topper Talk with Goran right now. Let's all have some fun. This is about plastic on top of your pin. Go and buy one now. There's a topper here and a topper there. Here a topper, there a topper, everywhere a topper. It's critical to the gameplay experience. You must buy one now. It's your monthly fill of toppers right now. Topper Talk with Goran.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Topper Talk with Goran, the part of the podcast where Kevin and Nick give me about 3 to 5 minutes to talk about everything happening in the very active and profitable Topper community. Now for today's episode, we'll be talking about the new Attack from Mars Topper from the Electric Playground, so let's head into the office and talk about that now. Okay, so here we are in the office, so let's dive right into this Topper. Now, this Topper was not put out by CGC, who most recently made the Attack from Mars remakes, but it is officially licensed. It's made by the Electric Playground, who has made some other Toppers that are quite cool and interactive, and I believe we've covered on Topper Talk in the past. But this is their first officially licensed one. It costs $1,279, but is limited to 300 units and is compatible for both the remake as well as the original Attack from Mars from Bally. So let's take a look at some of these pictures. The artwork is done by Brad Albright, and I think it's phenomenal. It looks great on the game. It reflects the rest of the artwork in the game, but it's something a little different. You got your number plate here. Although expensive, there's a few different things that we'll talk about in a second that makes the experience premium, in my opinion. It lights up, it's fully interactive. There's a solenoid or two as well that corresponds with movement in the game. We'll see that in a second. Yeah, so each of the different lights on the playfield correspond to a light for the topper. It can also do multi-ball strobing, as well as a rainbow light show for the video mode. And then, yeah, the alien head and saucer also move with a solenoid and bounce up and down, which is really neat. It's got that multi-layer plastic to it to give it that three-dimensional feel. And I feel that it just looks really great. Now, it does say that it has about a 45-minute install time, but they have a full video installation guide, which once again, I feel just adds that premium experience of great documentation with this and support. Yeah, this is licensed through Planetary, as we can see here. And we can check out a little video of it right here as well on the game. It really looks great. I think this is a great looking topper. Yes, it's expensive, but with the art and the three-dimensional feel to it, I think it's potentially worth the price if toppers are your thing. Like I said, it's limited to 300 units, and I think it's fantastic. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Topper Talk with Goran. Tune into the next podcast for another episode, and as always, get out there and buy a topper. Thank you for coming to my Topper Talk.